Life's the beach, or at least I wish it was. So let's paint one. First you want to get your canvas wet, not too wet, just glossy. Then get some blue, start at the top, fade it down to the bottom. Make sure it's fairly dark at the top. If you want it a little darker, you can add another color. I think I'll add some purple at the top. Just carefully fade it down, kind of keep the lines horizontal. And try to keep your canvas wet. Now you're going to add the area for the water, get that all wet. Kind of goes down at an angle. But make sure you don't let the water puddle. Then I'm using a turquoise blue. And then the lines for the water keep horizontal even with the sky. Unless it's really choppy, but here we're doing pretty calm water. And that's not quite as much color as I want, so I'm going to add a little more. Things with watercolor, when they dry, they end up a little lighter than what you see while you're putting it on. So don't be shy with the colors. Now I'm mixing the color for the sand with a little bit of yellow and brown, maybe some orange too. Do whatever you feel is best. I'm gonna angle it up to meet the water. Once again, it's not quite as dark as I want it, so I'm gonna keep adding more until I get there. With it wet enough, I can just add it straight from the cake is what the thing is called. I don't have to mix it every time on my little palette thingy. I'm just gonna keep adding it till I feel comfortable with the color. Want it to be vibrant enough, and I'm going right up to the water line because we're going to add some more watercolor for the water to go up over the beach line. Make sure between each layer where things meet you blow dry it with a blow dryer or let it air dry so that your colors aren't bleeding into each other. If you want a nice crisp line, make sure you dry it first. I'm adding more color for the water. I'm pretty generous with it. Keep blending it, add a little water if it's too dark, and then it's going to overlap the beach sand by about an inch at the bottom, and I'm going to fade it up so it's not quite as wide at the top as it is at the bottom to show some perspective that it's going off into the distance. Again, keep the water horizon horizontal. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the water color, the color of the water into the sky. Oop, that's a little much, so I'm going to water it down and blend it. And if it's not dark enough at the top, I'm going to add a little more, fading down into the bottom again. And let it dry. Then do your mountains. I'm using purple because that's the darkest color I have on there at the top. It'll be pretty dark and fade off into the distance there. You can do whatever shape of mountains you want. Don't even have to have the mountains, but I like them. I'm gonna make that line right where the water meets the mountains kind of dark. And add the reflection in the water with watered down version of that color. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white for the clouds. Just kind of dab it along and smooth it out. Doesn't really matter what shape the clouds are. Just play around with it. And go back and smooth it out more so it's not blocked in. Do a little more white where you want it to be brighter. Trying to make it look birds with some dark purple. Very, very, very lightly touch it. Make sure you're rinsing off your brush and dabbing it on a paper towel or napkin. Can't really see my napkin that I've been using. There's my dark line I'm putting on the horizon for my mountains. You don't have to do that, but you can. Now I'm gonna add a little more color to the beach. Still not quite satisfied with it. Again, you don't have to do that. That's me being a perfectionist. Just gonna keep smoothing it so I don't have to see the lines of where I put the color. If you don't want crisp lines, make sure that everywhere is wet. But you don't want the crisp lines where you want it to fade into each other. Work with it a little bit, make it a little darker at the corner, smoothing it back out to the edge. Let it dry. Then I'm going to add a little bit of dark, a little darker than the color of the sand for some footprints. I accidentally added too much, so I have to scrape it back in. Add some yellow to the brown. Maybe dab it along. Don't make them shaped like feet. Doesn't always end up looking just like feet. You can if you want, it's just more realistic because the sand shifts into different shapes and I want more than one set of footprints, so a whole bunch of people walk on the beach. Ooh, that's a little dark. Dab it off lightly and add a little bit back. Just at the bottoms of each of those footprints. Now I used some white acrylic paint on top. It's better than my watercolor paint. All you need is a teeny tiny drop and you can mix a little bit of water in to get it a nice smooth consistency so that it goes on nicely. Very lightly follow the edge of the water line, but kind of squiggle it a little bit so it's not perfectly straight or rounded, so you have more texture. Keep going with that. Sometimes there's some weird squigglies going out the other way. It helps to look at a picture of water to see where you can see white lines. Just adding random squigglies. There the foam is. We go thicker up at the edge. I don't want it as thick at the bottom as I don't want it as thick at the top as it is at the bottom because again, we need to keep that perspective of fading off into the distance. I'm adding some little bubbles. There's always air bubbles when it meets the shore. You can get as detailed with it as you want or just skip that part. And the bubbles are a little bit bigger at the bottom and they get smaller and smaller up towards the top. Still making the edge a little thicker. Now I'm going to accentuate the clouds more. I want to be able to see them a little better in the sky. Remember to keep your white paint wet. So if you need a tiny bit more water, then add it to the paint and mix it in so it stays smooth and then you can blend it in. If it starts to dry, it's fine, just get it wet again. I like using my detail brush for little details like this. You don't have to use a detail brush though, you can use just a regular, I don't know, watercolor brush. I don't know what they're called, number 6 brush or something. Just play around with with it till you feel satisfied with it. I like to make it more solid white at the top and then blend it down with a little bit of water. And I believe it's done. Except for one last thing, signature. Let it dry, and then I like to use a super thin Sharpie. Thanks for doing this with me. It's fun.